So for this video, I'm going to first go over the chords for Blackberry Blossom. I had a request to go over those a little bit more in depth, so I'm going to do that. And then I thought I would talk about the different versions or ways to find the different double stops or versions of the chords, and how to practice them, and how you can apply them for playing backup, but also in your breaks or solos. And then also some rhythmic stuff like this chopping technique. So there's that one. So I'll talk about all that, but first I do want to go over the chords slowly for Blackberry Blossom. So we're in the key of G, and the A part, the chords that you'll need are G, C, D, and A. And I'm first going to play through it using the simplest version of those chords. So for G I'll use open G and D. For D I'll use, for C I'll do, and for A I'll do. And it does change on the half bar, so twice per measure. So like is one chord, is the next chord, is another chord. So sounds like this. So let me just talk through that quickly. So G, D, C, G. C, G, A, D. That's the first phrase. And then the second phrase is G, D, C, G, C, G, D, G. So it just ends a little bit differently than the first phrase. It resolves back to the G, and there's no A chord in the second phrase. So you could practice that. Shuffle rhythm. So that's the A part. Now another way to play the chords, so this is the same chords but just different versions of those chords that I think sound nice for when you're playing the backup, because it kind of follows the melody walk down. So the melody walk down is so I'm going to kind of try to do that while I'm playing the chords. So I'm going to use this G instead of this G. So G, D, C, G, C, G, A, D, and then C, G, D, G. So that was just slightly different versions of the chords. So I'll talk more later about how to find those different double stops or the different chords, but that will give you an idea of. So that's how you play the A part, the timing of it and everything. And then the B part. So the B part is mostly an E minor chord. So we could do this 1-1, or any of those are an E minor. And we're gonna do E minor for 3 bars. So. And each bar we play it twice, so it's not changing on the half bar like the A part. So we're going to be on that E minor for quite a while for 3 bars, and then 1 bar of B7, which is so B, D sharp, F sharp, and then A natural. So I'm going to use this for my B7. So E is, and then B is. So 3 bars of E minor, 1 bar of B7, and then 2 bars of E minor, and then it actually ends the same way as the A part. So it ends C, G, D, G. exact chords that the A part ends with. And there are different versions of this tune that do different stuff, but that's how I play it. And that is changing on the half bar at the end. So let me just play the whole B part with the timing of it. So dun 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 dun. I stopped the shuffle, but you get the idea. So that's the timing of the B part. So now I thought I would talk about how to find those different chords, and kind of an exercise that I like to do to find all the different double stops in a chord. So a chord is the 1, the 3, and the 5. So the 1 is whatever chord it is, so G is G, and then you just count up to find the 3. So G, A, B is the 3. And then the 5, you just count up, so the 5 of G is D. So all the notes in a G chord are G, B, and D for G major. And so you can find all the different double stops by starting with an open G like we were playing. And now I'm just going to find all the different ways to play those 3 notes. So trying to leave one note the same and changing one note every time, just for the sake of this exercise. So G. Now if I put my 2 down, that's a B. So that's still in the chord. And if I put 3 on D, that's a G, so that's in a chord. So you can see where this is going, so I'm going to leave that 3 down, put my 1, that's a B, so that's in the chord. So and there's others, like if I took the 3 off, that D is also in the chord. What if I put my 3 on both A and D? That's in the chord. Or leave the 3 on the A but play this G on the E string. Or take the 3 off and change it to a 1. That's a B and a G. I could put my 4 down. That's a B, so that's in the chord. So you see all of these. I just stayed in first position. You could keep going, but so any of those you could use when you're playing backup, or when you're playing a solo and you want to add some double stops. You'll know those will work over the chord. So I would recommend, doing that for every chord that is in the tune. So find all the double stops for D, find all the double stops for C, for A, and then for E minor, for example, starting with this. There's probably some I'm skipping, but just so you have options, it's good to do. And then another useful exercise to practice is this, you could really use for your solo, is to play the arpeggios of the chord. So that'll also help you know which notes you can use. So arpeggio is just the chord but played one note at a time. So it's the same notes, the 1, the 3, and the 5. So for G, so you can mess around, find ways to practice it, make it fun. But yeah, arpeggio is really useful. And then, so that 7th chord, the B7th chord, the 7th note is that A. So that one, it does have an extra note in the arpeggio. So that you could really use for coming up with a solo as well. You don't necessarily have to play the 7th note when you're doing the backup chord, but you could. So like you could have that A and the B together when you're playing the backup, but you don't have to. So that B part, oh shoot, I was playing the wrong chord. I was playing B7. I meant to play E minor. So that was the B part. Now, another thing that you can do when you're playing backup is chop. So there's 2 different ways to chop. The more quiet, the quiet way where if I'm not really wanting to get in the way of what's happening when I'm playing in a band, but I still want to do something, then I'll do this chop, which is quieter. So you're going to mute the strings with this hand. You don't really have to press down all the way. You could, or you could just have them touching, as long as we're not getting a pitch. So I'm kind of just muting the strings with this hand, not getting a pitch, and then just kind of throwing, hitting anywhere, and playing on the 2 and the 4. So that's if you're just kind of wanting to do something but not be too loud. And then there's this other chop, which is a little bit louder, and you can use to make different grooves. But first, how to do that chop. So you're going to like mute, same thing, mute the strings with this hand so we're not getting a pitch. And then, so the motion is kind of throwing your hand down like this. And a couple important things. I think it sounds better on the upper strings, so the A and the E. You get a better sound than really. So, and then throwing, and then, so normally when we play, our bow tilts a little bit toward the bridge or toward us, but when we're chopping, it's either flat or even away. I think mine's going a little bit away from the bridge. And the most important, really important thing is that you're letting it stick in the string. So don't try to do it too fast. Really just do it slow and let it get that sound. And practice going, trying to get that up sound. So once it's sitting in the string, if you let your fingers come up, it'll get that sound. So really practice just getting that sound by throwing it with your fingers. Yeah, you could do the middle 2 strings as well to get kind of different sound, but I don't really ever chop down on the G string, I don't think. So really throwing, it's a vertical motion. And yeah, you can practice going, or to get kind of different rhythms going. And then another useful thing would be to practice maybe going on an up bow, do a note, and when you're down, it's the chop. So maybe practice a scale. That way you could get, that'd be a good prep for playing a groove. And then there's lots of different grooves you can do. For example, if you wanted to play in 6/8 time, you could go. So 1 up, down, up, up, down, up. Because you always want to be down for the to chop. So something like that. You could go. Like Devil Went Down to Georgia, something like that. So. I don't even know, but or you could go like. Always on a down bow, but yeah, there's lots of different grooves you can do. I'm not very good at doing the triplet chop, but some people can. I don't know how, but if you want to get more into chopping, look up videos of like Casey Dreesen or something, or someone who's really good at chopping, Daryl Anger. But anyway, it's a fun and useful technique to learn. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to go over in this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.